Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, Emmy winner and phenomenal actor Bill Oberst Jr. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hey Jimmy, hey Ron, how you doing?
Very well, thank you.
I was going to actually introduce him too, so you know who everybody is. So this is my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
He knows. We chatted before this.
Then we have the man behind the boards that you can't see, but you can hear. That's Mr. Chad Murphy.
Hey, Bill, nice props. I like that.
Let me explain to your viewers. I'm not in bed. This is Fox. He's a little Dotson, and he just had some back surgery. So the only way to keep him from being really antsy and whiny is to be close to him. So that's why we're down here.
We would do that too. We would.
See,
have
but
to do
I
that
thought
too.
you were in bed, and I was kind of hoping you were going to have sex with some gorgeous woman to make our show a little more interesting than it's been over the last 50
Ever
years.
done that?
You know, I mean, we could use some spice on this show. It would be nice if you were banging some gorgeous broad and we had the camera. I wouldn't mind looking at that.
Listen to you.
What?
That's up to you.
Then we also have a chat room full of people, so say hello to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, everybody in the chat room.
There you go. We have people from all over. We've got England, Estonia, Germany, United States, like pretty much like everywhere tuning in. You have a lot of fans.
Australia.
And you have a lot of fans, and everybody loves having you on. So you guys, first of all, if you want to follow Bill on Twitter, follow at Bill Oberst Jr. It's BILLOBERSTJR for Junior. And we want to welcome you to the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I want to start out by saying, first of all, like, congratulations on winning an Emmy.
Yeah, thanks.
That's like a really big deal. And
Where'd you put it?
Up on a shelf. Everybody in LA has an Emmy. You go to the grocery store and you check, like, oh yeah, I got it.
That's like years ago. Everybody had a script in their back pocket.
Yeah, they still do.
Still do? You meet them in the street. I've got a script for you. Guy got run over one day. He said, "Get the script out of the back of my pocket. I don't want blood on it."
I love it.
Anyway, so
I actually though, because I watched yesterday just for fun to watch it again. I watched the blood relations episode of Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten because I saw it a long time ago, and I'm a huge Tobin Bell fan, and the fact that you were in it, Adrienne Barbeau, I know, and I think you know Adrienne Barbeau too.
Adrienne Barboobs. Of course I know Adrienne. I torture her. I see her all the time when I'm out in L.A., Palm Springs. And I once said to her something about, I said, we have a nickname for you, Adrienne Barboobs. And she looked at me, she said, well, I figured that, Ron. I said, well, listen, when you were on that Maud show, when you were dancing in that little bra and you were shaking those tits all over the place, what'd you think? People weren't looking? She said, well, I said, well, nothing. And they're real. And she's adorable. And I love Adrienne. She's a very nice girl.
So he hasn't seen it, but he did.
Anyway, she was writing 4 books at the time. She's become quite a writer. Have you seen her lately?
I last saw Adrienne about 2 months after we shot the piece. She is a fantastic dramatic actress. She has tears in the scene with me. Every take, she had the tears, and they were real.
Sure, because her brassiere is killing her. Holding up those knockers on the shoulders, she must have deep welts and burns. That's why she's crying. Not because she's an actress, because her tits are killing her. Anyway, I love her.
So
if you see her again, say hi for me.
Though. He hasn't seen it. So he was in an episode of CSI. He got voted like one of the most notorious serial killers in not Criminal Minds, not CSI. I'm sorry, in Criminal Minds history. I think what are you like numbered 11 or something, right?
Yeah, on a list of 14. My guy's one of the few that are still alive. Most of them have been killed, you know.
Right. Well, considering, though, that there's like 17 or 15 seasons or something of CSI, though, and like in 1 million episodes, to be number 11 is actually like a big deal.
Well, winning an enema. No, you just blew my joke.
Oh.
A friend of mine was up for an Emmy. I won't give you his name, and he lost. He said, well, who wants the enemas anyway?
You gotta like
He called them the enemas instead of the Emmys. That's called a sore loser, boy. And he's a pretty big actor now. I won't give you his name, but he works a lot. So I have to tease him when I see him and say, "Hey, have you been up for any enemas lately?"
So first of all, you have to be like one of the busiest guys in Hollywood. And I have a question. Like, when did you actually start acting? Because you told us when we were like signing in that you were a DJ. Like, you haven't really been doing it that long, right?
I've been acting all my life. I was a DJ in high school and college. So I've been acting professionally for 27 years. The first 17 of those were on stage on the East Coast. I was strictly a stage actor, and that's how I made my living. And then I just kind of fell into doing TV and film.
Okay.
That's
Because
what
I
the
looked
part.
on your IMDb, your first credit is in 2007, which is 10 years ago, I think. And I was like, oh my God, how does somebody do 178 films in 10 years? And like I would say like 80% of them, you're like the #1 top star in like all, like you're the first one listed on the IMDb credit on like most of them. And I was like, in 10 years, you know, like that's some resume to put together. And you're such an icon. Ron doesn't really watch horror movies, but that's my favorite genre. And so like I see everything that's in horror, and you've worked with all the different like icons of horror, and you are an icon of horrors. So I freaking like love it. But like 178 movies in 10 years is a lot.
I like to work, you know, and that's this business. If you're a working actor, you just have to keep working and working and working, because it's like dating. People only want you if somebody else wants you.
And also, movies are a factory. You know, everybody thinks it's a glamorous job. I mean, I hate making movies. When I make a film, it's hard work. You got to do the same shit over and over again. They don't like this, then the bulbs blow, or something goes wrong, and then your stomach is growling, and they say, "We can hear your stomach rustle. It's growling." Well, feed me, goddammit, and I can go back on the set. So it's really not fun, and it is a factory. Now, question: do you miss the boards? Because after you're on the boards all those years, film stinks. Don't you miss the audience, the applause, the excitement, and the nervous?
He still does it.
The nervous breakdown before you go on. I love live. I've done live most of my life.
He still does it.
And
are you him? Are you going to answer him now, Jim? I mean, I'm talking to him if you don't mind.
Very much so, yes. And that's why I still do stage. I have a one-man show of a Ray Bradbury piece. It's one of his short stories. It's called Ray Bradbury's Pillar of Fire. I just debuted it off Broadway, and I tour with it whenever I can, because I do love the stage.
Angela Lansbury told me, film is wonderful. She enjoys it. She said, but Ron, there was nothing like doing stage. I said, but Angela, didn't you get tired of every night? You did like 108 performances of MAME. Wasn't it exhausting? She said, no, because we switch it every show. It's a little different. We
That's right.
do it a little bit different to make it more interesting. But she's 150, and she wants to get back on the boards. And she's a brilliant, you know who she is, Angela Lansbury.
Of course. May I give you my analogy of the difference between stage and film?
Sure, absolutely.
Stage is a blind date. You're meeting a collective lover a potential lover that you've never met before, and you have to kind of feel your way, and you don't know if it's going to end in a goodnight kiss. You don't know. But on camera, that is a voracious, hungry lover ready to go, and you have to have the goods, because if you don't look at it the way it wants you to look at it, it'll look somewhere else. So that's the difference. One is sort of a seduction, and one is the camera saying, you know what I want, let's go now.
But the camera makes it so perfect, which makes me not thrilled. I'm not happy with film. Give me live theater, because I love the imperfections. Yeah. I love the dropping of the coffee cup and it's not in the script, and then the way the actor quickly says, oh, I hate this coffee cup, it always falls. You know, those sort of things are what make theater so alive, because you actually feel like you're with these people on stage in their home, part of their family. Whereas film, people are picking their nose, they're eating, they're rolling all over the sofa or the movie theater. You know, it's garbage. But theater, I'm a New Yorker, so theater to me is still the ultimate form of art.
We should brag for you too, real quick, and let everybody know.
No, I want to hear the plays he's
wait
been
a second.
in. What have you been in
the
theater?
latest stage show, Ray Bradbury's Pillar of Fire. He won Best Los Angeles Solo Show, because I guess that means it's a one-person show, right?
Yeah.
And it opened off Broadway and did very well. And where do people get to go see that, or like do you post that on your website or something where people next time you're going to be doing it?
It's on my site. I tour it whenever I can. And my dream stage project I'm working on now is a portrayal of Ray Bradbury himself, authorized by the family. I love Bradbury because Bradbury gives people hope. He gives people optimism that we're going to make it and that we're not going to stay in this cesspool that we are currently in. And I want to do something that gives people hope. Unlike film, in which I generally play necrophiliac clowns and
No, oh, see, I'm a snob because I was in a dreadful film not long ago. I played a cop from Brooklyn, tough cop, and the film was such a dud, and it was stupid the way they did it. The monster was ridiculous. I mean, the whole thing was just a garbage pail. And I'm so upset about it. I'm so embarrassed that I was in it. But I did it because Jimmy kept saying, he's a friend of ours, do it. He needs an actor. No one else in the film was an actor. He pulled him off the streets. I was the only one. Now I'm playing opposite a guy who's supposed to be upset, okay, because this monster. And I read my line to him like, well, do you believe there's a monster? Something like that. And he said, well, I think so. I mean, he was dead. He should have played the monster. So film you can't burn. You know, theater, if you bomb one night, people forget. But film goes on and on and on.
And you know, film used to disintegrate back when it was nitrate.
I
but
know.
Digital, it's forever.
It stays forever. And guess what? People are still buying that disgusting film. Friends of mine bought it just to make fun of me and have fun with it. They bought it to laugh at, and they're laughing at the film.
I had bought like 10 copies of it, and thinking that it was going to be good, and we would want to have copies to give people, and I ended up selling them all on eBay. And
I mean, talk about a traitor. I mean, I wanted to do like I Love Lucy did in one of her skits, where something came out in the newspaper. She went down to the newsstand and bought every copy. That's what I wanted to do. You remember that? But anyway, so
let me go back to
a bomb on film lives forever.
Actually, you have a couple bombs, Bill. You have mostly good ones, but you do have a couple that weren't. Like, I used to be pretty friendly with Lance Henriksen because I used to go to the conventions, and I used to be a clothing designer, and I would dress him. And one day, the first time I met him, I was like, oh, this one movie you did, Sasquatch. I was like, dude, that was like the biggest bomb ever. And he's my favorite actor. I see everything he's in, whether it's good or bad. And he was like, yeah, well, you know, I had to make my alimony payments.
You know what? You just spoke a lot of truth, man, because people always say, like, well, especially to A-listers, you know, it's bullshit. Why did you choose this role? Or why did you decide? The answer is always the same.
Yeah, right. I got $100 a day. Okay? I could do better giving manicures to the homeless. I could make more money.
So also, you guys, if you want to know when Bill's going to be playing, doing the next thing of Pillar of Fire or anything else, you can go to BillOberst.com. The junior's not in that, so it's www.billoberst.com. So you're a horror icon. And
wait, before we go down that road, let me finish off what I wanted to do. Bill, tell me all the theater that you've done. I want to know if I've seen you on stage. I must have.
Well, I've done one-man shows for a long time. I really get off on recreating history, so I did JFK up in Connecticut, New England for the JFK Library. I did that for 9 years. I've done Mark Twain like everybody else, Copy and Hal Holbrook, but having a lot of fun doing it. And a Southern writer named Louis Grizzard, who was very famous. I've toured that around the South since 1999, and that still does really, really well. And now I'm working on the Bradbury pieces. Also, I portrayed Jesus on stage in his own words for like 13 years because I'm fascinated by how people react to ancient languages, particularly to Scripture. Wow.
So you've never been on Broadway?
No. The closest I've ever come is doing this off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway, yeah. You know what I like better? I like off-Broadway better, to tell you the truth, because I once went to see my friend Barbara Rosenblatt, who's the queen of voiceover, by the way. She did the Barbara Streisand life story on
audiobook.
Yeah, so she was playing an Irish mother, whatever, and we went up to this, it was like 3rd Avenue, we went up to this tenement. And we go into this broken down apartment where there's a broken down sofa. And we sat on the broken down sofa and people were sitting all over the place and they were showing on. It was wonderful. I mean, I loved it. I kept telling Barbara, if only the spring wasn't hurting my ass, I would have enjoyed the show much better. But anyway, that's the kind of theater I like.
Me too.
That's the kind of theater I was always in.
I like theater that's small and really, really intimate. The closer, the better, because then you can't lie. You can't lie right up front. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know how easy it is to act when the audience is close? Because you can open your eyes for a shocked expression and they see it. It's not like when you're on the stage, you got to do a whole, whoa, kind of a thing. So it is easier working an intimate room. But New York City, not any longer, but in the years back, I mean, Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward. I mean, who goes to the Cherry Lane Theater and sees them performing? You couldn't. But back then, that's who was there. They were starting off. Everybody was new back in the early 60s.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved it. I miss it. Miss
Do you
it
sing?
terribly.
Do you sing too? Do you do musicals at all, or
I have a serviceable tenor.
Okay.
You know, not great, but I would sing. There's a couple of films that I did a little singing in, but no musicals. No. Look at this face. You don't want this in a musical.
Sure you do.
Why not? Why not?
Only if it's killing somebody, you know?
No, I don't think so. You're like a very dear friend of ours who is, I think, stunningly gorgeous, but he thinks he's homely and ugly, and he's bald. And should we give his name?
I don't know who it is.
You know who it is. Who we just spoke to.
I don't know who it
He's
is.
no longer with his girlfriend.
Oh no! Don't no.
We're
you
not
can't,
gonna
no,
use his
you
name.
can't use his name, especially
Anyway.
now that you just told him that they just not did it with his girlfriend.
No, we think he's stunningly handsome, but they always put him in film as a killer.
Oh yeah, he plays always.
I mean, he plays big movies, like movies with Jason. What's his
just
name?
like him. Just did
Yeah.
And we can't get him to say that he is sexy. He's a sexy Yul Brynner.
He's like
kinda,
6'4", and he
with a-
always plays the hitman. Like
and a
big.
body of death because he's a
guy.
health freak and he works out and he teaches people how to exercise. And he's the nicest guy in the world.
is good
I mean,
looking.
we love him.
Well,
And-
there you go. Makeup artists, all the time the makeup artists tell me that the nice guys are the ones who play the bastards. And the a-holes are generally the ones who play the
The nice
romantic
gu-
leads.
Yes, yes, I believe that actually.
well, yeah, I have to agree with that.
So let's talk a little. Okay, so first of all, I want to say too, congratulations, you won the
Well, here
first
she
ever
is. Come.
the first ever Lon Chaney Award, which
Come on
is like super cool. And you know, one thing I found, because I've seen most of your movies, just because I'm a horror movie fan, so whether they're a good one or not such a great one, I've probably seen all of them. But one thing I didn't know until I looked you up is that you know, everybody thinks that you're like this like horror icon and stuff, but I don't think people know that you do movies for like. You've done stuff for like the Hallmark Channel, and you did a movie called Princess and the Pony, and you did The Three Doggeteers, and you did. I mean, these are like not the kind of things that when I think Bill Oberst Jr., I think, you know, happy-go-lucky family films, and I was shocked to see it, and I thought it was really, really cool.
I just voiced an animated pig for a kids movie, and I love doing that stuff. That's really
That's
more
fun.
me,
That's fun.
but my face is more killer. So my whole acting technique.
you
for
know,
horror-
I don't think so.
But that's what he gets cast as. Is what he's saying.
you would have been wonderful in Ron English. We're doing English today. Finnegan's Rainbow.
Phineas.
Wh-
Oh, something
Why
like
am I
that.
screwing that up? Help
I
me
know.
with it.
Yeah.
Because you look so Irish
Thank you.
that you could play a person in a pub that's got a good character role. I mean, I don't see you as a horror person.
Well, thank you. I
don't
love.
know your horror movies, but I could see you as a John Wayne kind of guy because you look a little bit like John Wayne. You've got his nose, and I think you could do that. Get
If
away
the-
from the horror. Who the hell wants horror? I hate that shit.
I love it.
But let me say that from a marketing standpoint, the two surefire genres, if you're a distributor, internationally, the two surefire genres are one, family values, and two, horror. They're
Yep.
Yeah, but I
No,
get
no,
offered horror stuff. You know, they offer me horror
I
stuff
love the horror
because I
stuff.
make a good vampire.
It
But
meant a lot-
I played a vampire with Vincent Price.
Did you?
Oh, sure, I did. In 1962 or 3. We all ran down Hollywood Boulevard, Vincent Price also, because sun was coming up. It was the end of the film. And the sun was going to kill all of us that he already drank. You know, we were vampires following him. And I remember sitting on the curb with Vincent Price. And he looked at me and he said, "Can you believe where the fuck I wound up?" He said, "Sitting on the curb on Hollywood Boulevard," just like that. And I said, "Listen, you're a star no matter where you are, Vincent. You're a star no matter where you are."
What a story.
It's a great story. It's going in my book that I'm writing about my celebrities. You know, I had a big show in California. I used to interview the legends, the big, the Cliff Robertson, Jane Russell, Lauren Bacall, Betty Davis, all the big stars. So I knew them all.
You're writing a book?
Yes, I am.
I want to.
Well, it's going to be very interesting because I'm 77 years old and I've been in the film business or in our business for 53 years. And I've done everything from impersonating Jane Russell on the stage and drag to making movies. I mean, to sweeping the floors in theater. You know, I've done everything.
Were you a good Jane Russell?
Oh my God,
Absolutely
he's
gorgeous,
phenomenal.
totally. And she was my dearest friend, you know, for years.
Really?
Oh yeah, Jane and I.
No,
were
he's a
buddies.
beautiful Jane
Go
Russell.
on my Facebook page. You'll see pictures.
Literally, he was beautiful, Jane Russell.
I really was. I was young.
He impersonated her in nightclubs, in straight nightclubs for
All
many,
over.
many years all over the country.
I played
Did
all.
you like doing the Cross Your Heart bra commercials?
You know, Jane never liked that. She said to me one time, somebody had said, we were in a restaurant, someone came over and said, oh, aren't you the bra lady? And she'd say, honey, I'd like to think of myself as a little more than a bra. You know, she kind of got annoyed with it. And she was annoyed with everybody commenting on her boobs. And even an interview I saw the other day when I was flipping through YouTube, they said her 38 C's. I asked Jane Russell in our interview, what size bra were you in 1940? And she said a 36B. That's all she was. She was not a big-breasted woman.
Wow.
Just the way Howard Hughes hung them out. You know.
Yeah.
She resented the fact she would have liked to have been, she didn't mind being called gorgeous and one of the most beautiful women in the world. In the early 40s and the most photographed. No other star was ever photographed as much as Jane Russell. She liked that, but she didn't like the boob stuff because it wasn't true.
This is Brandy, too, by the way.
Hey, Brandy.
Say hi to the other kids. Say hi.
Huh?
Yes, yeah, all our dogs are rescues, yes.
Say to that little dog.
We got her in Florida.
You wish his back.
Fox down here. He's asleep now, which is good.
That's nice. So
but if
also,
he saw Brandy, he'd wake up.
So one of the
She's
other
pretty. Look how pretty she is.
Okay, so one of the
She's
other
a blonde, a white blonde.
Okay.
You guys are great.
We do that all the time.
We're married.
We're married, so we fight all the time.
We're legally married. We got married in New York 5 years ago. I'm looking for a lawyer.
So you can legally fight.
Legally fight in our legal.
I'm looking to get rid
my
of
birthday is October 15th, so that's our 5th year wedding anniversary because we got married on my birthday.
And I'm seeing a lawyer on the 16th.
So tell me how was, because okay, so you did all these horror movies, but you also did The Secret Life of Bees, which was like a huge film. Dakota Fanning, Queen Latifah, Jennifer Hudson, Alicia Keys, Paul Bettany. Is Paul Bettany kind of nice?
Paul Bettany is very nice. Jennifer Hudson was in the back seat of my patrol car, all beat up with a blanket over her. Somebody putting blood on her, and she had just really started, and she'd won American Idol, and I had to turn to her and say, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I loved you on American Idol. And she was really great. And Dakota Fanning is the only actress I've ever worked with who can text right up to the second and then produce real tears on cue. I mean, the second they say action, the phone goes under her thigh, and there's the tears.
That's because she's so young, though, and young people are so in tune to being able to do that. I think because she's a superstar. You gotta
it's true.
love
now,
it.
Now if they offered me a major script, say the lead, let's make believe, okay, I couldn't do it. I turned it down because I don't remember lines anymore.
No.
Jane had the same problem.
You card. I worked with Robert Loggia. You know Robert Loggia?
Yeah, very
sure
well.
I do.
Cool.
I knew him.
Well, he played Apostle Peter, and I was the devil in his cell telling him he's going to hell. And he had cue cards the whole movie, and he did wonderfully.
Yeah,
There
but
you
when
go.
you have cue cards, it's not the same as when you have memory. Cue cards sometimes can come off like you're reading or you're looking for the card. It hinges your performance. I make them up. Like if the line is, he shot me in the head last week, I'll say, yeah, I got shot last week in the head. It's the same thing. It's just the way I speak. And they don't care for that. The directors don't care for it.
Indie directors don't mind. Most
Yeah,
everybody on indie films will change the lines.
So how was doing The Secret Life of Bees? Did you enjoy it? Because that was such an all-star cast, and I mean, now that film is out, because now Jennifer Hudson's a huge star. Then she was kind of starting out. Now she's like an Academy, Jennifer.
It was a lot of fun, but the more fun projects to do are the lower budget. On the higher ones, there's such stress, and there's such tension because they got to make their day, and so much money's involved. You have more fun on a lower budget film.
So what's one of your lower budget films that you think is the most fun that you've had on?
Well, I did a film called Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies.
Yeah, versus Zombies. I saw that.
We're the asylum, and we had a hell of a lot
comedy, right?
We had a great. I played Lincoln, and we had a tremendous. I got to do the Gettysburg Address in a zombie movie. That was fun.
What next?
No, I love that. I think that's like a lot of
come
fun.
on. I've seen a few of these things because of Jimmy, and I thought to myself, it looks like an 8mm home movie of 1954. The acting is atrocious. The scenery, the photography, the camera shaking, the way they pan around a room 100 miles an hour. I mean,
There's my reviews.
but it's everything you're not supposed to do. You know, my first movie was with Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter called That Kind of Woman, and I was an extra. I was a soldier. And I learned professionalism of the 1959 film. I mean,
Yeah.
They did it. And there was 1 million people on the set. Now you go on, there's 4 people, and the guy's got a handheld camera, and there you go. We got a movie.
That's right.
Actually, though, Bill does independent movies, but when he says low budget independent, he doesn't mean low budget like the one that we did.
Oh, that's
He
not
means they
even
have
the
enough-
budget.
We're talking
what
about
was the
20.
budget? What was
We're
the-
talking about like $20,000.
Wait, what was the budget on that?
I don't know. It was like
film?
$20,000.
I thought 15,000.
I don't know. Whatever. It was terrible.
I'm talking about like a 150 grand film.
Okay, there you go.
Oh,
that's a little
decent.
bit better.
Well, look at the original. What's the horror movie I'm looking for?
Night of the Living
Night
Dead.
of the Living Dead. $64,000, and it's still playing. It scares the hell out of everybody. Scared me to death. That was a scary movie.
Okay,
the
so
original.
let's do some hypotheticals. Like on a bucket list, who is the person, if you could make a movie with, whether it was horror or whatever kind of movie it could be, who is the actor that is on your bucket list, male and female, that you would like to work with?
Michael Caine.
Oh, that's a good one.
Interesting.
I met him. He's really nice.
I met him too at the Bistro Gardens. He was there with his gorgeous Indian wife, who's stunning. She was all in white. This is back years ago. He was all in white. I was all in white, and I was with Perry Winkler, and she was all in white. So when we sat down, I said, "We all look like we either sell ice cream or we work in a crazy house."
There you go. Okay,
We're
so
all
who's
white.
who's the female?
He's nice, Michael.
What female would you like to act opposite?
Michael Caine dressed as a woman.
Oh, like in Dressed to Kill.
Oh, that's scary.
Wasn't he in Dressed to Kill? He's the woman in Dressed to Kill.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's to me that's one of the scariest horror movies like around, because the ending of that movie like freaked me out.
I did say to him at lunch, I mean, not lunch, at his table, we were there for a minute. I said, why don't you work? I never see you work.
Now you never see him not working.
No, I was being sarcastic. This is
Michael
back
Caine taught me the one trick that has allowed me to work in horror. Don't blink.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
If
interesting.
you don't blink in a close-up, the power, and you can truly be mesmerizing with your eyes. Only blink if you want to show weakness. It's a small thing, but it's so important. So now I've trained myself to be able to go 90 seconds without blinking, and it's remarkably effective.
Well, back in the 40s, all the actors were told not to blink. Not for an effect, but that's what it was. If you look at the old movies, you'll never see them blink. For some reason, it changed. I don't know what the hell they were talking about.
Well, it was the realism school, right? I mean, when Strasberg, everybody wanted to be so real. I know actors now who say, I don't want it to look like I'm acting. I want it to look like a documentary. But I disagree. I think it's kind of stylized,
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I agree with you 100%.
There's a thing like Tippi Hedren said, it's called, Alfred Hitchcock said to Tippi when she said something to him, darling, it's called acting. And that's what it is. It's called acting. If we're getting too realistic with this, it's no longer acting. It's photographing some crazy family down the block, like all these shows that we have. They're killing us actors in our business.
Oh, reality shows.
These reality shows. I mean, the most pathetic human beings they could dig up from the garbage pails of the earth, they have on film.
That's right.
Great actors, you and so many wonderful actors are not working because of it.
Well, not you. You're working.
No, but you know what I mean? Working more. I mean,
no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
When I go to auditions, I see people who were on series 1 and 2 years ago, and they're out looking for work because dramatic series are so limited now because reality just ate everything.
Yes, and I hate the reality stuff. It's not any fun.
Also, there are writers that we know that live in Hollywood, in Lake, where the hell is it? Where Frank Sinatra used to live. You know where I'm talking about. Lake Toluca Lake.
Yeah.
And they're losing their homes.
Mm-hmm.
because they have no need. Nobody wants them. And they're writers. And if I told you some of the movies they wrote, you'd drop dead. You'd say, you got to be shitting me. Major Academy Award winning films, and these writers are broke.
Because all you need for reality is an editor to create a false storyline.
What editor? What editor? Some jerk that's stoned on drugs and he makes everything cockeyed.
I only reality shows. I do like the singing shows because I do work in the music industry. So like American Idol, The Voice, and stuff. That's it.
No, when I was clicking and I saw the 600-pound woman reality show where they follow a 600-pound woman through her day that she can't walk. And then they have the audacity to show her naked, where she just looked like a pile of blubber. It was the most nauseating thing I've ever seen. I feel sorry for the poor bitch, but, don't eat. No, that's my feelings. Honey, you weren't born a 2-ton Annie. So you got that way because you're nuts and food is your life. Don't eat and you'll be thin. So I have no pity, but yet they make a show out of it. And everybody watches the 600 because they like to make fun of them.
That's right.
See. And that's
terrible.
a sin.
That's terrible.
It's a sin to make fun of a sick person. They're mentally ill, these people that eat. There's something wrong with them.
You ought to see the casting notices in LA. If you're overweight and you're willing to appear in your underwear, you can work all the time. If you're a little person and you're willing to be humiliated, you can work all the time. It's all the most base stereotypes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yet they won't have gay actors. So what do you think of that?
Hardly.
Stan Zimmerman. You know Stan Zimmerman?
Not personally.
Yeah, I love him. I love Stan. Stan, if you're around, I love you. I do.
Zimmerman wrote the first season of the Golden Girls.
And he is
Gilmore Girls and a bunch of stuff like that.
He's a talent. He's a comic talent beyond belief. He's a genius at his comedy. He's written a fabulous show, sort of like the Golden Girls, about 4 gay guys who are old. He can't get it off the ground because the networks are afraid of it because it's all gay. It's all gay stuff. It's going to be a riot.
Lesbian neighbors.
I mean, it's a riot.
Guys, who do people think writes and creates most of what's on stage and screen?
Absolutely.
Every queen I know, every sissy queen I know, they're the campiest and the funniest, of course. But the straights don't get
That's hilarious. Yeah, for some reason, I guess the networks, even though a lot of them are run by a
closeted Fran Drescher, who I love and adore, you know who Fran Drescher is? I adore Franny, my Franella. She had a great show on called Happily Divorced about her life, and it didn't take it. They got rid of it because it was too gay. Yet they'll put a 600-pound woman on with her legs open showing us her uterus, and that's entertainment. But Fran Drescher is not. So this is what pisses me off about what the public wants. The public is garbage sometimes, and they want garbage.
I want you to write a book titled "The Public is Garbage."
Well, I would. You see, because I'm 77 years old, and at 77 years old, I have earned the right to say whatever I want. I've been on the planet longer than most, and I've seen it turn to shit. From what it was gorgeous and wonderful in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, I've watched it just decline and become where people are like, who watches that? And those other things, those anti-gay guys, what are the beards? What are they called?
We don't like
Duck Dynasty. And they're fake. They're not even, they're regular guys. They were Wall Street guys. And they grew a beard and decided to be hillbillies that insult gay people. What is wrong with this world?
You know what? I actually tweeted, because I'm big on Twitter, and I tweeted something bad about Duck Dynasty, and I lost 50,000 followers, and I got death threats. Literally.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we get death threats all the time.
It was just crazy.
Great.
So we've only got a couple minutes. Let's
no,
go.
I want more. I like him.
I know. But let's talk a little bit. So what? First of all, what do we got coming up? Anything that we need to promote that you got coming up?
I hate actors who talk about the shit they have coming up, and I'm not going to do it.
Okay,
no,
good.
you are, because we want everybody to watch.
Oh, well, then I want to know. Then I want to know what happened about Scream Queens. Then, because I want to know if Scream Queens was fun. Because I think that's actually a cute, campy show.
Jamie Lee Curtis directed me, and she's wonderful. There should be more women directors. They bring something to the table.
Absolutely.
Male directors don't. But Jamie Lee Curtis, we went through the whole thing, and she showed me. She said, now, this is just a suggestion, but this is what I'm thinking. And so I did exactly what she said afterwards, and we finished the take, and she said, effing fantastic. And I said, Jamie, I did what you said to do.
But she didn't say effing, because I know her father really well. And
He did say it.
She would have
No,
said fucking, not effing.
He's
Well,
not
I know. No,
Oh,
I
well,
said effing.
well, because Tony Curtis was a good friend of mine, and I know all about it. And
Yeah.
Tony would never say effing; he'd say fucking.
I say effing.
Okay.
So Scream Queens was a lot of fun.
Right.
They might bring me back on Criminal Minds to kill me, and they might bring me back on Scream Queens. And I'm touring my Bradbury show. And if anybody wants to be in touch with me, I love to hear from people on Twitter. I like to be in touch because when you're an actor, you get kind of isolated sometime, you know?
Sure you do.
Absolutely.
So where do you live, L.A.?
Yeah.
Well, we're moving out to Palm Springs, so maybe we'll give you a buzz one day when we're out there.
Palm Springs is lovely.
I love Palm Springs. I lived there for years. Now we're moving back. Can't take the Northeast weather.
I am so glad to have met you, too. This is
Me
really
too. I'm glad to meet you, but I'm serious. We're going to call you. I'm not. And if you don't answer, I'll have Brooklyn people break your fucking legs. That's all.
I will answer.
Yeah. Otherwise, your knees are gone, baby. You'll never walk again. They'll snap them on the curb.
You said that so sweetly.
But because I've said it so many times to so many actors in my life.
Your knees are gone, baby.
We're
Gone. Knees are gone. No more knees.
Every cool guest that we have come on, we
Yeah.
tell them that we're going to do dinner parties once we get to Palm
We
Springs,
have
so,
so
everybody
many-
can meet each other and have a
Right.
good time and
we,
just like
we have
enjoy.
so many friends that we've met through our show, and we've continued after. Even the fellow I was telling you about, the handsome bald guy, he's a good friend of ours. And we are going to have little parties occasionally at the house and invite a select group of actors, different kind each time. Mixed comedians with dramatic, and some of them are big names too. They're not all, like some of them are starter offers. I got the old bags coming, like Arlene Dahl and I can't even think of. Tippi Hedren, my sweet dear friend who I love. I love my Tipska. She's the
We
best.
love all of it.
Anybody out there that's got a couple of bucks, please send it to Tippi Hedren. The lions cost a fortune to feed every day, and she's looking for money. Otherwise, she's going to be in deep shit trouble. So send it to, what is the place called again? I forgot. Oh my God, her lion facility.
Just Google
Shambhala.
Shambhala.
Look up Shambhala on your computer, and if you could send $5, $1, whatever, to Tippi Hedren, just say, Tippi, Ron Russell told me to do this, or he's never going to talk to me again.
Go back to Bill. So, Bill, when you're on Scream Queens, because that's like young Hollywood, and sometimes young Hollywood's not always as nice as older Hollywood. Are they all pretty nice? Just ask me, is Leah Michele, was she kind of nice? Did you get to meet her?
On Jamie Lee Curtis's set, everybody's nice because they have to be, because she promotes that professional atmosphere.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Well, she came from two great.
Oh.
I mean, Tony and Janet Lee. Janet Lee, folks, was the gal who got killed in Psycho in the shower.
Yeah.
That's Jamie Lee's mom, and Tony Curtis is her dad. And
okay, so that's a good thing. And look at the doggy's moving. Poor doggy. One other thing too, how is Stress to Kill? I have not seen this.
Not bad for an indie film. It's really not bad. You should watch it. Armand Asante is in it.
Love him.
He's crazy, and he gave me bruises. We had this fight scene, and he was like, I'm really going to rough you up, okay? I said, yeah, okay, that's fine. Damned if he didn't.
How tall are you? Are you tall?
No, I'm not tall. I'm like 5'9".
It's against the union, if he hurt you.
No, it was fun.
That?
Armand Asante gave me bruises.
I know, but if you complain to the union about it, they'll give you all your medical attention you need.
I wear those bruises with pride.
There you go. You guys, the movie's called Stress to Kill, and the byline says, to reduce blood pressure after a heart attack, the guy kills everybody who stresses him out, and I think that sounds hilarious. So it's like a comedy horror movie, right?
Yeah, it's a dark comedy.
Yeah, I think it sounds
say
hilarious.
Go after SAG whenever you can, because you pay all that money out, you never get anything in return. So go sue them, sue SAG. Ron,
I'm not suing SAG.
I can't speak to that.
I love you, but I'm not suing anybody.
Also, then we want to
listen. If you sue. It's so hard to say sue SAG. I can't do it.
So I want to
can't
do
do
a
it.
little, but look at that picture of him, how creepy he looks.
Well, that's also he's made up to
So-
look disgusting.
So I want to do a quick, like, little brag thing too. These are some of the people that you've done, that everybody will know that you've actually acted with, not including the fabulous cast.
I think you're very
of-
cute.
Not
Look how cute he
Would
is.
you let me finish,
Thank
please?
you.
Good look.
Not including the cast of Criminal Minds and the cast of Scream Queens, because I didn't write them down. But he's worked with Dee Wallace, so she's been on our show. John Savage, Tobin Bell, which I want on the show. He's my favorite. Adrienne Barbeau, Armand DeSanti, Roddy Piper's been on our show. Noah Hathaway's been on our show. Zach Galligan's been on our show. Naomi Grossman's been on our show. Emma Roberts. Oh, I put them in there actually. Brett Rice has been on our show.
I
He's
love
a great
Brett.
character actor.
Brett's my
Hugh
buddy.
Jackman.
Say that again.
Hugh Jackman. Hugh does. He's Toyota's spokesman in China, and so I did an extended Chinese commercial with Jackman. I played it.
Oh, he froze.
Oh no, he froze.
You just
Chat. What
froze.
happened?
He's wonderful, wonderful. I'll tell you how wonderful he is to work with, and then I know you got to go. We did a turnaround, right? It's a 2-person scene. Well, they shot his side over my shoulder, and then they said, well, we'll get a stand-in so you can go back to your trailer, Mr. Jackman. And he was like, no, I'm staying here and I'm feeding lines to Bill. And I said, like,
Wow,
you
that's
don't
big.
have to do that. He said, we're in the same business, and if it was me, I'd expect you to be there. Let's go.
See,
That's
that
such a nice thing to hear.
no,
too.
no, that's a pro. That's a
That's
professional
a pro.
who's in our business for the work, not necessarily the dollar. The
That's
ones that are in it for the dollar want to do as little as they can and get the most that they can in money.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the true actors, again, bringing up Paul Newman, Paul would work for nothing if the part was good. He was an actor. He wasn't interested in the movie and the money. That's why he gave it away with his food and stuff. You know, all that Paul Newman shit they were selling.
Yeah.
He was not interested. He was an actor. He loved
Well,
acting. And
I
he was-
love you guys. I don't want to keep you, but it was great to meet you. Thank
Great to meet you too. Everybody listen up. Follow Bill on Twitter. It's at Bill Oberst Jr. His website is BillOberst.com. Please support all his films, indie and non-indie, and watch him on television. We want to thank you for coming on the show. You're fabulous. Best wishes to the recuperation of the dog.
Yes.
Fox. His name's Fox.
Yes.
Best recuperation to Fox. Thank you so much. And anytime you have anything big you want to promote, just let me know and we'll bring you back.
Love to you guys. Bye.
All right.
You
Bye-bye.
too. See you in L.A. Bye.
Okay, bye.
What a nice guy. And he's really very nice looking. They make him look weird.